Hey guys. Alright, so today's lesson in math is going to be really short, okay? Because you guys did so well with this yesterday, I think that this is something that you already kind of know how to do, but this is just a kind of check to make sure. Miss Jessie always likes to make sure that you guys are really good at whatever it is that I'm teaching you. So we're going to go back over those different ways to tell time today or to write a time. This is what we worked on yesterday. For example, let's just use this time that's on the clock right here. One way that we could say this time is the way that we've learned all along. You know, you look at the hour hand and you look at the minute hand and you write what time that shows. So this one shows 3:05. And that's how you write it. But if you remember yesterday in our lesson, we learned about a different way that we could say that. Instead of saying 3:05, remember I kind of called it that weird backwards way that sometimes people say time. So when it's the weird backwards way, you're going to say the minute first and say after or past the 3. So for example, this one would be 5 past 3. Because it's 5 minutes past the 3. You see how the 5 is past the 3 or after the 3? That's how they're saying that. They just say it in a weird backwards way. And both of them show 3:05. You can also just write it in words. Whoops, 3:05. Just like that. And those are the 3 ways that I could say this time. It's important that we know all these different ways because sometimes people are going to tell you a time differently. For example, your boss might say, hey, I need you here at work tomorrow at 5 after 3. And if you don't know what 5 after 3 is, you're going to get in trouble with your boss at work. So it can cause a lot of trouble. That's why we need to know all the different ways that we can say it. Because they don't always say it this normal way that we've learned. Sometimes they say it different ways or write it different ways. So let's practice a couple on your own just to see if you remember how to do it. And then you're going to do some practice on the computer and you'll be done with math for today. So I'm going to give you just 3 to practice with. So I'm going to write a number 1 up here because this is going to be our first one. I'm going to move our hands to a different time. We already did that one. Oh, let's leave it right there. So what I want you to do is I want you to write this time 2 ways. So if I was going to write this time 2 ways, I might write it like the normal way that we learned, what it looks like just normal. And then I could also write that kind of backwards way that we talked about yesterday. So tell me this time in 2 different ways. And you can write this on your board, piece of paper, whatever you've got there. You're just going to write number 1, and I need you to write this time 2 ways. I better write these down so I remember what they are. Alright, our next one, this will be number 2. Let me move our hands to make a different time. Let's try this one. I'll move that hand just a teeny bit. Alright, please tell me this time in 2 different ways. Remember, one way could be just that normal way that we always write time. And then the other way could be that kind of different backwards way that sometimes people will tell you a time. Remember, the backwards way has the minutes first. That's kind of why it's backwards. All right, we'll try this one. This will be our 3rd one and our last one. I told you we were just going to do 3. We'll leave it right there. So tell me this time in a different way. Or 2 ways. You have to do it 2 ways. So maybe that normal way that we always do it. And then another way could be in that kind of backwards, weird way that people say it. Alright, so this is one part of your math lesson today. Your other part I'm going to explain in another video because we are kind of doing something a little different today. I'm going to let you play kind of on the computer, but I'm going to explain where to go and how to do it, okay? Alright, I'll see you guys in just a second.